Hey everyone, and welcome back to Crochet here at the Earlville Public Library. And we're doing the Checkerboard Textures Crochet Throw by Yarnspirations, and this will be square number 6. If you're following along with us, we have videos for squares 1 through 5 and the granny square, which is the first one. So technically this is like square number 7, but this is the first numbered square if you're using their pattern. The pattern is linked in the description box below, and we have some printed here at the library that you can come and grab for free. We're also meeting in person now in addition to creating these virtual tutorials. So stop by if you're interested and crochet with us twice a month on the second and last Wednesdays. Or crochet along virtually with us from home. So grab your hook and your yarn, and we're going to get started today on crochet square number 6. Crochet square number 6 is called the front post double crochet square, and so we're going to be doing some front post work, which we have a little bit of experience with so far, but we're using double crochets today, not trebles like we worked with last month. So the skill level for this one is marked easy, so hopefully that proves true. And we're ready to go. So let's take a look at today's square. It looks like this. I made mine with this yellow color, and it kind of looks like a waffly fabric. I think this is really cool. It also makes a pretty dense, thick, squishy fabric. If you're thinking about using it for other purposes like a scarf or probably make a nice pot holder, trivet, something like that. Really dense, fun fabric. So let's get started. There's a note in this pattern to work with a smaller hook. So this is one of those opportunities where you want to use one hook size smaller than the size you've been using for the other squares in this pattern. I know the pattern starts out with some recommendations, and maybe that hook size works for you, maybe it doesn't, but whatever you're using, scale it down one size for this square. So make your slip knot. If you haven't seen one of our tutorials on making a slip knot, rewind and watch one of our earlier videos, and I'll give you a detailed instruction play on how to use or make a slip knot. And we're going to chain 36 loosely. And we've discussed that that is so we can work stitches back into it when we go back around and do the border at the end of the square. 36 loosely, and with that slightly smaller hook. So yarn over through the loop, yarn over through the loop, and so on until you have 36 of those little stitches on for your chain. I have 36 chained loosely on my hook here, and I'm ready to do our first row. Row number 1 instructs that working in the back loops only, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain until the end of the chain. So basically we're looking at a row of single crochets in the back loop only. So we've done this before if you've been following our videos, and we're going to take a look at our stitches here, and we are going to work skipping this first chain on the hook here and moving into this chain on the hook here. Normally we would go down to the bottom half of this chain and be able to grab both these 2 loops on our hook for our first stitch, but instead we're going to look at it as just this top loop or this back loop, and that'll leave us with 1 loop on the hook, and we can make our single crochet. Yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2. So once again, we can see that there's an arm coming out of this stitch, so we know it's already worked. It's a little bit bigger because we've done stuff to it. So next door we're going to go into this back loop only, yarn over through the stitch, yarn over through 2, one more time, through the back loop only, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, and we're going to do that all the way through all of these chains. Alright, here we are. I have one more stitch, one more chain that I can put a single crochet in that back loop only. Yarn over through the stitch, yarn over through 2, and now I should have 35 stitches completed because we skipped one when we started working into our chain. Now we're moving on to row 2. Row 2, also pretty straightforward, says to chain 3 and then put 1 double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. So we're basically looking at a row of double crochets. So here we'll chain 3, yarn over through the loop, yarn over through the loop, yarn over through, that's 3, turn our work, and we're ready to put 1 double crochet all the way around. Now I'm not going to count this stitch right here as a double, or I'm not going to start here because this chain is acting like a double crochet, so I'm going to consider that double crochet number 1 in this stitch, and instead I'm going to start working right next door into these stitches. We turn, we can see our sideways V, and we know that I'm going to enter not underneath here, but underneath these 2 legs of the V. So right next door, not this stitch, but this one. So for double crochet, I yarn over and insert my hook into the stitch. We're working in both loops now, no back loop only specification here. Yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Next door, yarn over, insert hook into the next stitch, yarn over back through the stitch, give me some more yarn, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and so on until you get to the end of this row. So I'm here at the end of my row and I have room enough for 1 more stitch in this last single crochet here. I yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. If we count our turning chain over here, we should have 35 double crochets in this row too. Now on to the 3rd row, we'll get into some of that front post work. So to start off, we're going to chain 3, and then we are going to start our repeat already with those asterisks. And it's a 1 double crochet front post around the next double crochet, and then a regular double crochet. And we're going to repeat that pattern going around the front post and then into the regular stitch to the end of the row. And that should leave us with 18 regular double crochets and 17 that we've made around the front post. So let's try that. We are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Turn our work, and we're ready for a double crochet front post around next double crochet. So here's the first one, and that's the one we put our chain on top of. So we're going to skip this one, and around the next double crochet, we're going to yarn over and then find the post of our next double crochet, which is right here, and we're going to insert our hook from the right of the stitch, back behind, and out the left side of the stitch. So we're going around the body, the post of the stitch, instead of inside the top, those 2 V's. Then we can yarn over and draw the loop back around and out the side of that post stitch. We have 3 loops on our hook. We can yarn over and go through 2, and yarn over and go through 2. And that was your front post double crochet. It's created this raised effect here. And right next door, we're going to put 1 regular double crochet. So now, if you turn your work this way, you can see that those V's that you would normally have worked in are still available. So you want to make sure that you don't create your double crochet into this open stitch here, but actually the stitch next door, because we want it to end up being placed on top of the next post stitch. So don't get confused by thinking, since this stitch looks like it hasn't been worked, that's where your next regular double crochet should go. So we're going to yarn over. We can look. This one belongs to our front post crochet. So we're going to put our regular stitch here. On the front, it looks like this. It's going to go right here. Insert the hook. Yarn over back through the stitch. Yarn over through 2. Yarn over through 2. So now we have a chain, turning chain, a front post crochet, which is raised, and a regular double crochet sitting next door. And we're going to repeat the front post stitch now. So we're going to work next door to the one that we put a normal double crochet on top of, and we're going to go around this post. So yarn over, insert your hook to the right of the stitch in between those stitches, all the way around back and out the other side. yarn over, draw your loop back from where you came from, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And now we're ready for a normal double crochet next door. So we can yarn over, check to make sure we're not going in this double crochet, but this one, the one that's right next door. Insert your hook, yarn over, draw through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And now our pattern is starting to take shape. We have a normal turning chain, raised stitch, normal double crochet, raised stitch, normal double crochet, and we're ready for another raised stitch. Yarn over, find your next stitch, go in to the right of the stitch, around back and out the side, yarn over, draw your loop back where you came from, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and so on and so forth. Repeat those front post stitches with those regular stitches all the way to the end. Here we are, I'm almost done. I've got room for one more double crochet, and I've alternated between those front post stitches and those regular stitches. So that leaves me with a regular double crochet that's gonna go in the top of this turning chain. So I'm gonna yarn over, find the 1, 2, 3rd chain of my turning chain, and insert my hook there, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And now I have a regular double crochet sitting next to the last front post double crochet that I made. And we're starting to see that fun texture emerging. Now we're ready for row number 4. And in this row, we're going to put a double crochet in the next front post crochet, and then we're going to do another front post crochet. So we're going to alternate again between a regular crochet and a front post crochet on down the line. So we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn our work, and we can see that the back looks a little bit different. We have this ridge back here, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next front post double crochet. So if we remember from the other side of our work, we ended with a regular crochet, and right before it was a front post double crochet. So it's this stitch that we're talking about working in right away. We've got our turning chain connected to this double crochet on the end, so our first available front post double crochet is this stitch here from the row before. So we're going to do a normal double crochet right in that stitch, right in the top there, right there. Yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So essentially we've got like 2 regular double crochets. This is a turning chain and this is a double crochet, but this turning chain's acting like our double crochet. We got 2 normal double crochets right next to each other to start off this row, and we're ready for another front post double crochet. So what we're going to do is essentially, this is a normal double crochet from the last row. We're going to yarn over and do our front post work. So insert your hook to the right of the post of the stitch, down behind, back, and around out the other side. Yarn over back where you came from. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And you've got your raised stitch now on this side. And now we can start alternating between regular double crochets and front post stitches on down the line. Stop though before you get to those last 2 stitches. Here we go to a regular double crochet in this next stitch right next to the front post. Remember, you can check by looking behind to see this is the open stitch that belongs to the front post stitch, and this is the next available one that we're going to work now. So yarn over, find that stitch, insert, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and we're ready for our front post stitch. Yarn over, insert hook to the right of the post of the stitch, around back and out the side, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Now we're ready for our regular double crochet. Yarn over, find the next available stitch, insert, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And we're ready for another front post. Yarn over, insert to the side, back and around, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And keep alternating until you get to those last 2 stitches. Here we are at the last 2 stitches of our row. So for these 2 stitches, we're just going to put 1 regular double crochet in each of them. So yarn over, and insert our hook into that stitch, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then we have room enough to put one more double crochet here in the top of our turning chain. So the top is the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, insert our hook into that chain, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And there we have completed row number 4. And we're starting to really see that waffle texture take place. And now we're ready to do rows 5 through 26, and that's where we start repeating. We're going to alternate between the last 2 rows we did, number 3 and 4, until we get to our 26th row. So what I do is I write out the numbers row 5 through 26, and then I will cross them off as I complete them, alternating between whether I'm on row 3 or on row 4, if that helps you. If it doesn't, keep track however you'd like. You could put a little, we're going to go back and do row 3 for number 5, so you could put a number 3, 4, 3, 4 above all of your row numbers, if that helps you keep track of which one you're on better. Do whatever works for you. This is just my process. So the thing that we're going to remember is that the beginning and the end of row 3 and 4 are different. So each row that we do is going to alternate with that slight difference. So we're getting ready to do row 3 again, which is going to mean we start right away after our chain with a front post stitch. And row 4, we put a double crochet in the first 2 stitches, a normal one, before we start our front post stitches. So if you can remember that difference, you'll have no trouble keeping track of what row you're on. But other than that, you alternate between your front posts and your regular double crochets the whole way. So let's do a repeat of each of those rows together, and then you'll be on your own. So this is row 5, and it's a repeat of row number 3. So row number 3 says to chain 3, turn our work, and we are going to start off with our front post stitch. So remember, we don't count the one that's attached to our turning chain, and we're going to yarn over, find that next stitch post, and go around through the right, back, around out the side, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2 for that raised stitch. And now we're ready to repeat. So it's a regular double crochet in the top of the next stitch, and a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. Regular double crochet in the top of the next stitch, and front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch. And I'll see you at the end. Here I am at my last stitch, which is that turning chain. So I'm going to find the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and put a regular double crochet in it, and that will finish off this row. Yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So that finishes us off here. So that was technically row 5, acting as row 3, and now we're ready to do row 6, acting as row 4. So the row 4 instructions say to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn our work, and now we're going to put a double crochet right away instead of a front post double crochet. So that's how you want to skip. One row, you're going to do a front post crochet right away, and the other row, you're going to do a regular double crochet right away. So as long as you keep alternating those, you should be able to keep it straight. So here we are with our regular double crochet in the next stitch. So we're not counting this one right here, which is attached to our turning chain, but we're going to go into this one right next door, not this guy, but this guy. Here we are with a regular double crochet, and we're ready for a front post double crochet around the next stitch, a regular double crochet in the top of the next stitch, and a front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and so on and so forth, until you get to those last 2 stitches where you're going to put regular double crochets. I'll see you there. Here we are at our last 2 stitches. We've got 1 double crochet and a turning chain here, and they're getting just regular double crochets. Yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and one more time in the top of the turning chain, yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And that finishes off row 6, which has the instructions like row 4. So you're going to continue working in this way all the way through until you've done 26 rows. And then your 27th row is a single crochet in each stitch. So we're going to pretend that I've reached row 27, and we're going to chain 1 for row 27, turn our work, and put a single crochet in each stitch. And that includes this starting one right here. So we're going to insert our hook into that first stitch, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2, and again on the stitch next door, insert your hook, yarn over back through, yarn over through 2, and you're going to continue with single crochets in the tops of all the stitches until you get to the end of this row. And at the end of the row, we have a turning chain. So we're going to put one single crochet in the top of that turning chain. And that would be row 27. Now, note your square should be, you know, this big before you do that, row 27. But I was just giving you a little demonstration there of the single crochet row at the end. Now you're ready to turn off the camera and work up to row 27, and then come back and I'll show you the border. This is my other square that I've been working on with this fun yarn that Miss Nina gave to me. And it actually made an even squishier, softer version of this square than my original yarn did. So I like this yarn a lot better, but I don't know what it is because she just gave it to me. So I can't tell you. But I think it's very fun, and it just makes such a squishy, thick, like I don't think it comes through on the camera how thick it is, but it's really beefy, and I think it's great. It's like a nice little pillow. Okay, so on my demonstration one here, my second square, I have finished. My single crochet row has gone all along the top here, and here's where my working yarn ends, and I'm ready to start crocheting again. So what that means is that I'm about to turn my work this way and work along this row in the sides of my rows that I've been making so far. And in order to work what the pattern writer is calling for, 33 stitches all the way across evenly, in order to do that, she or he recommends that we place a stitch marker in rows 2, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24 and do some other stuff here pretty soon, which seems like a long way to go if you're asking me, but you can eyeball it. You can just start kind of like, all right, well, it's 33, I need like 10, 10, and 10, and then like, I guess 11, 11, 11, math. So if I ballpark that by eye, you can totally do that, and I have done that before. But for the sake of this video and the very specific instructions we've been provided, I will do the thing that the pattern writer says to do. And so you can see if it works and if you want to try it at home. But I probably wouldn't spend this much time on it if it were just me. I also forgot all my stitch markers, except this one. So it's going to look a little weird. Anyway, here's how we count our rows. We have the first row that we made that was a single crochet, that's row 1. Row 2 is this row of double crochets here. And then we have row 3, which is the raised stitches. Row 4 on the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does that make sense? Sure hope so. So in order to mark them, row 2 is this row of double crochets right here. So we'll put a stitch marker, what is just a needle because I don't have enough stitch markers. And row 4, which is, here's row 3 and row 4. So this will go here. And 8, I have a knitting needle, interchangeable knitting needle key for my stitch marker. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8 there. And why don't I go ahead and use my actual stitch marker in row 12. So we have 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one can go right in here. And then 16, okay. 13, 14, 15, 16. Put them there. And then we're going to work up to 20. 17, 18, 19, 20. And 24. 21, 22, 23, 24. So there's another stitch marker. So you should have some sort of catastrophe like this. And these stitches you're going to do something special in. So each marked row is going to get 2 single crochets. And each other row is just going to get 1 single crochet. We are going to put a single crochet in this unmarked single crochet row. And then we're going to put one around the post of this double crochet. We're not going in between in the middle of the stitch, just going around it for our single crochet. Next double crochet, we're going to go around with a single crochet. And here we have a marked stitch, so we're going to put 2. So here's 1 and 2. And then we can put 1 around the next double crochet, another one around the next double crochet, and we have a 3rd double crochet here. And then we have another marked stitch where we're going to put 2. 1, 2 in the same spot there. It says to go in the stitch and around the stitch, but I feel like you can just do it both the same way, however you choose. Find the next double crochet, and we're going to go single crochet in there. Single crochet in the next double crochet. And in the next, we're just looking at the end of those rows. And we have another marked stitch, so we're going to put 2 there. And find your next end of the row. Another end of the row. Another end of the row. Here we are at a stitch marker where we can put 2. Just making sure nothing's falling out down there. They're just needles chilling. Find the next end of the row. The next end of the row. Another end of the row. And here we are at another stitch marker where we can put 2. Oops. Well, that was row 2, so it won't be too bad. I lost a stitch marker. So end of the row here. End of the row here. End of the row here. Oops, I'm getting... This is why you don't need use needles. And we are at a stitch marker. So I can do 2. And if I remember correctly, this was row 2, so I can put 1 here. But then I need to duplicate. We pretend there was a stitch marker here because I lost it. It fell out. And we'll put 2 there. 1, 2. And then we're at a single crochet row where they also tell us to make sure we put 1. So now you should have 33, but remember, don't count the end of your single crochet row from this side. You want to count the first one you placed in the single crochet row going this way. So now you're going to turn your work, not flip it over. We're just going to rotate it, and we're going to make another row of stitches on the other edge. First thing we got to do is make our corner. So down here in our first stitch of the bottom row, we are going to chain a single crochet and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put a chain right back in that same stitch we came out of, and we have a little loopy. And then we're ready to work along and put 1 single crochet in each chain until the end of our chain. So we're just going to fill these up with single crochets. And because we made our foundation chain loosely, we should have enough room to do so. So I'm just going to find each stitch, each chain here of our foundation row, and put a single crochet in there. And that should give you 33 when you get to the end. Alright, so if you want to count to check, make sure when you're looking at your starting point, you don't count this first single crochet here because that is part of your corner. Start counting to 33 starting on the next one. Count, 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 and that should have given you 33 here at the end. Now, in this last stitch, this last chain, you're going to want to make another corner. So we're going to insert the hook, yarn over through 2 for a single crochet, chain 3, and put a single crochet back in that same stitch. And that gives you another loopy, so you have 2 corner loopies here. And now we're back to our crazy row where we are going to want to place all our stitch markers again the same way we did before. And every time you come to a stitch marker, you're going to put 2 single crochets. Every time you see an unmarked row, you'll put 1. So that brought me to 33 for my side row. I'm ready to rotate my work again and go along this top row here. Well, first we got to make our corner. I don't think we made a corner on this side yet. First we're going to make a corner. So at the end here, we're going to put 1 single crochet, chain 3, and put a single crochet in that same spot. And now we're ready to go along our where we ended. And for this row, we just get to put 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way till we get to the end where we're going to make another corner. And here we are at the end of our single crochet row, ready for our last corner loopy. So we'll put a single crochet in here, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put a single crochet in that same space to give us our last loopy. And then it says to join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet that we made. So that's just a insert your hook, yarn over through the stitch, and drag that same loop through the loop on your hook for a join. And then we can cut our yarn and send the tail through the loop, cinch it up, and we have our next square. Very fun. So we have a couple different versions here. You can see the original sample. Very waffly and fun. I like this one a lot and hope you enjoyed making them with us. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call and see if I'm here and able to chat crochet, and I would happily do so. We're also, again, meeting in person, so you can feel free to stop by and ask your questions during our regular meetings. So thanks again for watching us. Feel free to check out all of our other videos on YouTube. We do some other podcasts and fun things. We also have craft videos that come out for different seasons and different projects. A lot of past craft videos that you can take a look at. Usually we use supplies that are very easy to get a hold of, so if it's not a craft program we're running currently, you might have some things laying around the house that you can use already, or they're really inexpensive to purchase on your own. Plus, we're always making crafts around here, so there will be another packet to come surely very soon. Feel free to join us on our Earlville Crochet group. You can find that by searching us up on Facebook, and you can also join the library's Facebook to keep up to date on programs and other fun things that we might be doing around here, and share pictures on the crochet group Facebook page about your progress and what you're working on, and ask questions and just interact with the other crocheters we have involved here. And we'll see you next month. We're getting close. Next month we'll do textured square number 7, and we're getting very close to needing to join them all together to make a big blanket. So you're working on those granny squares from the very beginning if you haven't done that already, because we will need those. And I'm talking to myself too, because I don't have them ready. And we will have a big blanket to look forward to. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye!